ERC, quality service since 1972, repairing TVs, console stereos, electronic musical instruments, pinball machines, arcade games, and more. Call 836-0454.
This is the Weather Xtreme video for Saturday, May the 31st. I'm ABC 3340 meteorologist Brian Peters with you, and let's get right to a few images. How about this one? Just to prove that we saw some scattered showers to the northeast of the Birmingham area yesterday. This is a look at yesterday afternoon's radar. Now, this morning it looks pretty nice. This is the shot from the Compass Bank building in downtown Birmingham. And how about looking over the Tennessee River up at Decatur? Another interesting sunrise. And then I still love all these bridge shots. This is Selma looking at the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and there is a rather flat Alabama River. Well, we have an interesting weather pattern, high pressure over the southeastern U.S., and you can see that there's some patchy fog, not anything really widespread, and I don't think anything really a strong impediment to travel. 500 millibars, we're primarily under a ridge, but for the next few days, the next couple of days anyway, it's going to be kind of an interesting weather pattern. Plus, we have some interesting action in the tropics. Temperatures this morning, very, very warm. Look at this, all the way from New York City all the way to West Texas. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s, so very warm across the United States. Across the southeastern U.S., especially central Alabama, temperatures generally ranging from about, I think 66 there at Tuscaloosa to 73 at Birmingham, so a fairly warm morning. Action going on in the tropics. Alma came from the eastern Pacific and crossed into the southwestern Caribbean, and that's a look at the storm this morning. Here's a little wider view so that you can get the perspective. It could become a depression if it stays offshore, off the coast of Nicaragua long enough, but probably going to move ashore, and with that, it will continue to produce heavy rains and not intensify. QPF for the next 5 days, indicating most of the precipitation going to fall well north of Alabama. We could see a little bit, especially on Sunday, and that'll be interesting to watch to see if we get some of these MCSs. All right, Storm Prediction Center outlooking a moderate risk of severe at the eastern seaboard, stretching from western Massachusetts all the way down to the D.C. area, including places like New York City, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., so a number of locations that don't see a lot of severe weather, plus a large area of slight risk extending along this sagging front. That on day two, the area shifts a little further south in a very elongated area. Day 3, the focus shifts back into the Central Plain states, and then for days 4, 6, and 7, we have an area outlooked primarily in the Central Plain states, especially in the Ohio River Valley, and then shifting over to the west of Chicago, and then coming into the Chicago area. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the 06Z GFS model run. And this is the 500 millibar pattern for today, and we can see the ridge being suppressed just a little bit by the short wave moving through the Great Lakes. That will help to bring a front down into the Ohio and Tennessee River valleys, and of course that's going to be the focus for the potential for isolated severe storms. That front sags into the Tennessee River Valley by Sunday, and that could be the focus for severe weather once again. And I noticed we mentioned this a couple of days ago, the possibility with a northwesterly flow that you might see some MCSs, some mesoscale convective systems or complexes, and that's one of the things the Storm Prediction Center is looking for. The front more or less begins to wash out on Monday, but I'm afraid we'll have to keep those showers in the forecast. And the ridge begins to build back on Tuesday. This is the 500 millibar pattern for midday around 1 o'clock on Tuesday. And that translates into relatively dry, and I'm afraid that's pretty much the way it's going to be for the rest of the week. Wednesday, once again, we have a little bit of a suppression of the ridge with another short wave moving across the Great Lakes, but that doesn't seem to result in many showers in our area as we look at the surface chart here. And that surface chart remains rather dry, with the old Bermuda high nosing all the way in across the southeastern U.S. and the southern tier of the United States, and it stays that way on Friday as well. But notice the tropics. Once again, the GFS keeping it rather nervous down there. 500 millibar on Saturday, a week from today, looks rather benign with a very large ridge extending from the mid-Atlantic states all the way down across northern Mexico. But the Gulf, pretty nervous looking. But the GFS has been doing this, so I don't know, kind of hate to say much about it. And then by Sunday, the Gulf looks really nervous with the development of a surface low-pressure area just off the Yucatan Peninsula there. Now let's go out into Voodoo Land. This is Wednesday, and notice something? Yep, the ridge is still there. And with that, we're relatively dry. Now, can we see isolated storms? Yes, it's always a possibility. And then way out, and this is the 15th, and lo and behold, look at that. A large, strong ridge extending all the way across the southern tier of the United States. And once again, a rather nervous-looking tropics. Well, we certainly appreciate you tuning in to the Weather Xtreme video. I want to thank the folks at Columbiana and especially the Mayor Alan Lowe for the invitation last night. Had a great time, Music on Main. It's a weekly event throughout the summer, so if you get a chance, try to take it in. Again, we appreciate you tuning in. Have a great Saturday, and God bless.